Hi, my name is Muhammad Aizat bin Tajul Arifin. So now I will explain how to configure all the router and switch using the following initial command. First, to disable the DNS lookup, we must use command en, press enter, and then conf space t, and then use command no IP domain dash lookup and press enter. After that, to enable a not encrypted password, we must use command line console 0 and then password, then put the password we want to use. For this example, we use ITN. Press enter, and the last one is login, press enter. After that, to console password, we use command line console 0, then press enter, then type password, put the password we want to use. For this example, we use 2022. And then to encrypt the password, we use command service password dash encryption. Press enter and type exit. After that, to display the banner MOTD, we use command banner MOTD hashtag, put the word line we want to use, and end it with hashtag. Press enter and type exit. And then for the second task, we must design the network. First, we put 5 hosts on the finance department, which means 5 PC. After that, we put 7 hosts on the business department, and then another 11 hosts on the wireless cafe router, cafe area wireless, and then 2 hosts on the one subnet, and the last 2 hosts on the database server. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Zadenia, and today I will explain about task 3, which involves calculation about construct IPv4 addressing and perform subnetting. So, based from the table 3, we can see that there is table which includes in subnet name, number of valid hosts, network addresses or CIDR, and then first host address, last host address, and also broadcast address. So for the subnet name, we use Cyberjaya as our subnet name, and then for the number of valid hosts, we put around 7 hosts, and for the network address, we use 192.82.80.0, and for first host address, we use 192.82.80.1 because when first host address you must plus 1 from the network address, and for the last host, our IP address is 192.82.80.6, and the broadcast address is 192.82.080.7. The difference between broadcast address and last host address is, for the last host address, the last number behind this must be subtract by 1 to get the last host address. And so for this table, as you can see here, first network is 192.80.82.0. First address is 192.80.82.1, and the last address is 192.80.82.6, and for the broadcast is 192.80.82.7. And for the finance subnet, for the network, IP address is 192.80.82.32. The first address is 192.80.82.33. Last address is 192.80.82.46. And for the broadcast is 192.80.82.47. For the business subnet, the network IP address is 192.80.82.16. First address is 192.80.82.17. Last address is 192.80.82.30. Broadcast address is 192.80.82.31. For the cafe subnet, IP address is 192.80.82.0. For the first address is 192.80.82.1. Last address is 192.80.82.14. And for the broadcast address is 192.80.82.15. For the one subnet IP address network is 192.80.82.48. First address is 192.80.82.49. For the last address is 192.80.82.62. And for the broadcast is 192.80.82.63. Lastly, for the SRV IP address is 192.80.82.64. First address is 192.80.82.65. Last address is 192.80.82.78. Last broadcast, the broadcast IP address is 192.80.82.79. So from the table 4, there is a IP address table which more detailed. As you can see, for the device Cyberjaya, the interface is G0/0, which the IP address is 192.80.82.33 and no default gateway. Second interface is G0/1, which IP address is 192.80.82.16, which also no default gateway. For the G0/2 interface, where IPv4 address is 192.80.82.1, and also default gateway is none. And for the HQ, which the interface is S0/0/0, which the IPv4 address is 192.80.82.65, also didn't have any default gateway, and so with interface G0/1, which IP address is 192.80.82.49, also no default gateway. Okay, and so for the cafe WR interface 0/0, which with the IP address of 192.80.82.1, the default gateway is 192.80.82.0. For the database DBSRV device with the interface of FA0 and the IP address which is 192.80.82.64, and the default gateway is 192.80.82.33/28, which is the subnet mask. It should be 192.80.82.50. As for the finance department, the interface used is VLAN 1 with the IP address of 192.80.82.33/28, and also the default gateway is 192.80.82.33/28. For the business department, also use the VLAN 1 interface with the IP address is 192.80.82.17/28, which the IP address, the default gateway is 192.80.82.33/28. So for the finance PC1, which use FA0 interface, use 192.80.82.34, and the default gateway is 192.80.82 and 33. It goes on until finance PC 5. And for the business PC1, which also use FA0 interface, which the IP address is 192.80.82.17. They use default gateway which is .80.82.17 until PC7. So as for the finance and business PC, they use different default gateway. So I think that's all for now. Thank you from me.
Okay, now I want to explain or present about task 4 and task 5. Task 4, we must to configure all routers, hostname and IP interface, and must to configure all hostname, device name and IP interface, and the last one, configure the server hostname and IP interface. Just configure the all. And the task 5, we must to change the any name in SSID and change the password and change enable the DHCP using the cafe area wireless subnet and start IP address, second IP address, maximum number of user we must to change to 30. Okay, now we go to packet tracer. First, we must to go the cyber Jaya router, go to CLI, key in password ITN, the second 2022, and first we must to enable and command config T. Okay, first we must to interface gigabit internet 0/0. 0/0 is 0/0. Wait. 0/0 is router go to switch final department subnet. Oh, wait. Interface gigabit internet 0/0. Okay, IP address 2.80.82, and what we need is IP address router. It is 34, so the IP address is 30 255.250, and now shoot and this is the command to configure the router, host. Configure the host. It is the same for final department subnet and the business department subnet to configure the host name and host in the device, but in the server and cafe area wireless same too. Okay, now I want to show you about SSID, the task number 5. First, we must to change SSID. We must to click router, go to GUI, and go to wireless. You can see this is network name SSID. We just change it Cafe Abah. And the second one, we must to change the password Wi-Fi 2020. Security, no. Wireless security. and here we must to change. If we change, the all the device or host will disconnect, and we must to try to connect again, like here. Go to okay. I did not change and it's the same. But if I change, it will disconnect. Okay. Now number 3, enable the DHCP using the cafe area wireless subnet. We must enable the DHCP. Yes, here. We must to click here. And start IP address, second IP address. Task 5, number 4. We must go to router. Go to GUI. Okay, here you can see. This is the IP address for the router. And start IP address is 192.80.82.2. So because of IP address first is the 1, so start IP address is 2. And the maximum number is 30. Subnet, we must go 255.255.240 and save the setting in the setting. Okay, now is the set. Then the last one. Yeah, maximum number of user we already done before. And the last one, on cafe client should get IP address for wireless router dynamically. You can see here IP address. I choose DHCP. Just click here. Okay, that's all.
Okay, now I will explain about task number 6. First, we need to connect business PC1 to finance PC1. First step, we go to business PC1 and we go to desktop, then IP configuration, and then we copy the IP address on business PC1. Then we go to finance PC1, go to desktop, and then go to command prompt and typing, then paste the IP address of business PC1. Second is business PC1 to cafe wireless. First step, we go to business PC1 desktop and IP configuration, then we copy the IP address of business PC1. Then we go to cafe wireless desktop, command prompt, and then we type ping and then we paste the ping of business PC1, which is 192.80.82.18. And then finally is finance PC1 to DB server. First step, we go to finance PC1 and then we go to desktop, then IP configuration, then copy the IP address of finance PC1. After that, we go to DB server desktop command prompt, and then we type ping and paste the IP address of finance PC1, which is 192.80.82.34, and the output is like this. For business PC1 to finance PC1, is success. Then for business PC1 to cafe wireless is unreachable because the router. For finance PC1 to DB server is same, that's, that is unreachable because the router. Okay, that's all. Thank you.